Let's begin in the all-fours position. So we'll come onto our hands and our knees. You can tuck your toes and start to shift the weight forwards and back with your toes tucked under, noticing if you have any sensation in the soles of your feet or the wrists with your arms relatively straight. You might add in your breath. You can also move your hands out to the sides and add in some free-form movement with my fingertips pointing left and right. I like to circle through the shoulders. And you can also move your fingers all the way towards your knees, so inverting the fingers towards the knees, and again move forwards and back or circle. So begin to warm up through the hands and the wrists for first downward facing dog. Okay, you're welcome to flick out your wrists there. Turn your hands forwards if they're not already. Tuck your toes and reach up and back into your first downward facing dog, where you might pedal out through your feet. Bringing attention here to your points of contact with the ground. Maybe you find stillness or continue with movement. Maybe you bring your attention to the breath. Invitation is to breathe all the way around your low rib basket, your low rib cage. And feel a round opening with the breath, if that's available to you. And for a couple more breaths, as you land in your body here, you might ask yourself if there's any needs that you can locate in your system, in your mind and body. What are your needs right now? It's okay if you don't pinpoint them right away. Asking the question is the first step. So then from here, we'll roll over the toes, shifting the shoulders over the wrists, and take the knees to the floor. And you can either sit on your heels, you can kneel in a kneeling position, or you might separate your feet, put a block in between your hips, so your feet are to the outside of your hips, or even sit right down on the floor in between your feet if that's okay for you. And then let's begin in a side stretch to the right. So right hand down to the floor, left arm up, out, and over. And take a breath in here. You can bend your bottom elbow as much as you like. Maybe even let your head hang. Take a breath out. And then we'll circle that left hand down in front of us to take the outer right knee, and either let your right arm reach behind you in a twist, take it down to the floor, or you might wrap it behind your back, maybe even reaching for your left inner thigh. Rolling the right shoulder head up, back, and down. Take a breath in here, your own breath, your own rhythm. Take a breath out. And then hanging off this left hand on the outer right knee, the right arm can unravel and come into a side stretch over to the left. And you might notice some differences if you're doing this from one side stretch to the other as you're pulling a little, if you like, on the left hand. Breath in and out. Then you can crisscross your hands, right hand in front to clasp the outside of the left knee, and you might round in, almost like a slump. Breath in and out. And then as you rise your chest up, so you're more in line with your pelvis, you can hook your right arm with your left elbow across and pull your right arm across. And you might straighten your right arm. And you could also look over your right shoulder here. That might intensify the stretch. For a breath in, your own breath out. And then here, either giving yourself a hug, wrapping your fingers around both outer shoulders, or if you can, wrap your elbows nice and high and clasp your palms towards each other, and maybe even grab a hold of your right wrist and make a fist. Breath in, you could reach your elbows forwards and up. Breath out. And then unraveling through your arms, either clasp wrists, forearms, or elbows and reach your arms up over your head. Again, here you might connect with your breath, breathing into the whole circumference of your low ribs. And if you're not already up in a kneeling position, you can press into your shins and come up into a kneeling position here. And I'm just going to turn this way for you to see. You can take your right leg out to the side. Take a breath in and then open up your arms into a side stretch. So you can take your right hand on your right knee, or maybe your elbow, or maybe even your hand in front to your ankle, opening the bottom collarbone, reaching the top arm out over your ear. You can let your head hang for a breath in, breath out. And you might go off your mat a little here, so we're gonna come up and start to fall into the left hand. So the fingertips might come to the floor. If you're using a block, your hand might come to a block. And you might elevate your right knee and see if you can move the right knee behind you and stretch out through your wingspan. You could hold on to your knee here if you like. For a little bit of active strength work, you could even reach out through your right leg for a breath. Okay, now we're gonna start to take our hands down for a plank position. So you're likely facing the front of your mat, so both hands come down to the ground. So you're in all fours and your right foot comes into a plank position, finding that long line. Exhale your left knee up into your left armpit. An option to stay there to rest, or drop your left knee towards your left wrist, across to your right wrist, back to your left wrist, up into the armpit for a breath, and then taking the foot to the outside of the left hand with the foot and the knee turning slightly out to the sides. And you can take your right knee and top of the foot to the floor. You can take your right hand out to the side so the fingertips point out on a diagonal, maybe even a little off your mat. And again, explore your wingspan, pressing your arms away from each other, maybe widening your collarbones. And you could also elevate your pelvis here a little so it's not sinking so much to the floor. We will get there. So open it up, maybe making the back body nice and wide for a breath in, breath out. And then 3 times you might roll onto the front of your right knee, let your pelvis sink, and reach back for your right heel. And then back up into that first position, low twisted lunge. So you might roll onto the front knee, let the pelvis drop, reach for the back heel, and then come up. Last one here, if you like, you might reach for the heel and hold on to it, or you might be reaching. Beautiful way to do this is reach without grab, or you might grab and maybe pull that foot in towards you, bending the top left arm for a breath in and a breath out. And then let's circle that left hand down to the floor and keep the left toes and left knee point out to the side and start to shift back towards like a runner stretch, back toes tucked. Maybe bringing your elbows down to the floor and then shift back forwards into that low lunge. Exhale back if you like. Inhale forwards. You can also explore different breath patterns here. Exhale back. Inhale forwards, shift your weight into your hands, elevate your chest by pressing into your hands. It's like you're coming into a plank. Elevate your hips and press your left foot back towards a downward facing dog. And you can come into movement or stillness. Maybe for some folks you feel like moving into an inversion of your choice, or resting in a child's form. Maybe you're noticing what your needs are in the practice, and you can address those in the next sequence of movements. And then we'll take our time to roll over the toes and come down into your choice of kneeling position or hero's shape. And this time we're going to side bend over to the left. So left hand down, right arm up, out, and over. Breath in and out. Right arm circles down to hold the left knee, coming into a twist. Either your left arm reaches behind you or might touch the floor behind you. Could wrap around your back to clasp your inner thigh. See if you can roll that right chest around your spine. And then we'll let the left arm come up, so we're side bending to the right this time and kind of hanging off the grip of the left hand. If you have that grip there, breath in. Maybe you're feeling a different kind of engagement or tension in the left side of the body as you stretch. Breath out, and then your left arm can crisscross, and you're welcome to round in here, opening up the space in between your ribs at the back of your body. Breath in and out. Allow yourself to slump a little, and then come out of that slump and hook your left arm across. You might look over your left shoulder. You might straighten your left arm. Breath in. Your own breath out there. And then you can either give yourself a hug with your elbows wrapped as high up as you can, or you might find your palms or your left wrist and your elbows might scoop forwards and up for a breath in and a breath out. You can unravel that elbow clasp and hold on to your wrists, your forearms, or your elbows. Reach up for a breath in and out. And then we'll press into our shins and come up, and I'll just show you this way, but you can stay facing the front of your mat. And then we'll take our left leg out to the side, knee and foot pointing out to the side, and we'll come into a side stretch. So your choice of side stretch could be both straight arms or elbow to the knee, or maybe sinking down to clasp the ankle. Finding a breath in, maybe you're turning that bottom chest up towards the ceiling, opening that bottom collarbone a little bit. Breath out, and then coming up and falling into, windmilling into, falling into the right hand. You could keep your left tippy toes on the floor. You could hold your knee if you like. For a little more strength work in the hips, you could open out, project out through your limbs for a breath, and then we'll turn ourselves belly button towards the floor, swivel so that you're facing the front of your mat and your left foot finds a plank position. So you might stay there, or exhale your right knee into your armpit, lower it down towards your right wrist, over to your left wrist, back to the right wrist, sucking it up into the armpit, and then place it to the outside of the foot. I was going to move my block, and then take the back knee and the top of the foot down, fall into the left hand, the fingertips pointed out to the side, and you can open up through your arms, stretch out from the center of your chest, any amount there, and fill up your low back area so your hips are coming away from the floor, pressing into your right foot. You might look up. Breath in and out, and you can stay there, or you can roll to the front of the left knee, the top of the left knee, let the hips drop and reach towards your bent back leg, your bent left leg. Maybe looking behind you a little bit, and then coming up, back up into that first position. And then back into it, reaching, hip sink, top of the kneecap might roll to plug into the floor, and then back up. And this third one, on your own breath, you might continue to reach, stay for a couple breaths, or hold and draw in, maybe bending that top arm. And then we'll circle that right arm down towards the floor, keeping the right knee and the right toes pointed out, and we'll shift backwards towards a runner stretch and forwards. And you can tuck your back toe here. So maybe the elbows touch the ground, and forwards, and one more time. Backwards and forwards. You can tuck the back toes under, lift the shoulders, lift the hips, drag that right foot back into a downward facing dog where you might find movement or stillness. Some people might find a handstand or a forearm balance. Some people might find a child's form. And we'll do that whole sequence one more time a little bit quicker. So you can take your time to roll over your toes, knees plug down, feet might separate, or you can come up into that kneeling position that works for you. Sitting down, side stretching, so right hand down, left arm up and over. Breath in, breath out. Left hand down to the outer right knee, come into your version of a twist. Breath in, breath out. Hanging off the right knee, right arm comes up, side bending to the left. Breath in, breath out, crossing your arms, slumping in, curling, maybe bending your elbows. Breath in, breath out. Rising up to find your midline, hooking the right arm across, maybe looking over the right shoulder, maybe dropping the right shoulder, breath in, maybe straightening the right arm, breath out. High wrap at the elbows, hugging in, or finding your palms or your wrist. Elbows might elevate, breath in, you might look slightly up. Breath out, unclasping, holding on to your wrists, forearms, or elbows. Arms might come up over your head. Breath out, coming up into a kneeling position there. And then taking your right foot out to the side and side stretching over to that right side. Breath in, breath out. Come on up, falling into the left fingertip, so staying into the center line of the body. You might open up there. You might even take your big toe and reach it open. Breath out. And then coming into your plank position. Right foot finds the ground, sucking the left knee up into the armpit, maybe dropping it down towards the left wrist, across to the right wrist, back to the left wrist, up into the armpit, foot to the outside of the hand, externally rotated leg a little bit, right knee and top of the foot down, fall into that right hand, right fingers could turn out to the side, open up your wingspan, lift your low back away from the floor, almost rounding the spine if you like. And then as you exhale, sink into the hips coming down, the top of the knee coming down, back leg bending, reaching for that back leg. Up, inhale, exhale, sink. Up on the inhale. Keep pressing into that bottom right arm. Exhale, sink, and you might hold on to the foot and draw it in any amount. Maybe bending the top arm. Breathe out. Circle the left hand to the floor. Both hands find the floor. Back toe tucks. Exhale back. Hips over the back knee. Or the back, the back knee. Inhale forwards. Exhale back. Inhale forwards. Exhale back. Inhale forwards into the hands. Press into the hands. Elevate the back knee. Elevate the hips. Drag the left foot back, pedal out the feet, breathe in. Breathe out at your own pace. Roll over your toes for the other side. Come into the kneeling position of your choice, side bending to the left. Right arm up, out and over, breathe in. Your breath out. Right hand finds the outer left knee. Twist, left hand behind you, or catch the inner thigh, breathe in, breathe out. Now side bend to the right, left arm up, out and over, breathe in, breathe out, cross your wrists, find opposite knees, maybe bend your elbows, find a slump. Follow those pleasure sensations for you in a stretch. Come on up, pulling your left arm across, maybe depressing your left shoulder and looking over your left shoulder, straightening your left arm. Your breath. Hooking the elbows high, hugging, palms find each other, or finding the wrist, elbows forwards and up. Your own breath. Interlocking your wrists, your forearms, or your elbows. Taking your time. As you're ready, come up onto your knees and the left foot goes out to the side. Come into your side stretch. Gate shape or Parigasana, your variation. Breath in and out. The inhale might bring you up, falling into your right fingertips. Your choice to float that left leg, maybe hold the knee, maybe hold the big toe. This posture is not super casual, but some people might want to explore it. Wherever you're at, circle your left hand down to the floor. Kick that left foot towards the plank. Next exhale, suck the right knee into the right armpit, down towards the wrist, over to the left wrist, back over to the right wrist, up into the armpit, foot to the outside of the hand, back knee down. Left hand comes out on a diagonal, opening up your wingspan, almost curling your back, hips lift away from the floor. As you might exhale here, let the left knee roll onto the top of the left knee, sink the hips, and reach for your back bent leg. Inhale, come up. Exhale, sink in if you like. Inhale, come up. This last time. Exhale, sink in. You might reach for the foot, pull it in, bending the top elbow, dragging the shoulder blades a little down the back if you like. And circling your right hand down, both hands face forwards, shifting back into the runner stretch with the right leg externally rotated and forwards. Shifting back and forwards. On your own breath, shifting back and forwards. Press into the hands, elevate the shoulders and the hips, drag that right foot back to downward facing dog, pedal it out. Finding your downward facing dog or your rebound that's appropriate for you today. And I'll invite you to come into a seated position. You might want to sit up on a block, cross-legged or hero's shape, and I'd like to close our practice with a few breaths together. So if you like, letting your shoulders roll up, back, and down. Back of the head might lift, chin might tuck, and we'll exhale our breath together. As you're ready, breathe in half of an in-breath. Pause, breathe in all of the in-breath, all the way to the top. Fill yourself all the way up to the collarbones with the breath. Pause, you might tuck the chin, find a still point. Exhale, long, smooth, steady exhalation as you're ready. Finding the bottom of the breath, and then you might inhale a third of your breath here. Pause, inhale another third. Pause, can you breathe into the back body as you inhale all the way to the top of the breath? Pause at the top, letting the shoulders hang. And as you're ready, long, smooth, steady exhalation. 2 more like this. Invitation is to breathe in a quarter of your breath. Another quarter to pause. Last quarter. Pause at the top. You might tuck your chin. Welcome to close your eyes. Find your still place. Expanding and contracting. And then as you're ready, exhale your breath, slow, smooth, and steady if you can. Last one, 1/8 of the breath. Another 1/8. Another one. Another one. 1, 2, 3, 4 to the top. Pause. As you're ready, slow, smooth, steady exhalation. Finding the bottom of the breath. Letting your breath be as it is, watching your breath, noticing any shifts, any changes, and you might bring in that question of noticing if you have uncovered any of your needs. Can move forwards into the rest of your day with that information and this connection to yourself. Thank you so much for being here with me. May you have peace.